this. Okay, so we're going to start to install an integrative manual therapy module for your physical healing so that you can be in resonance again with the universe and with the micro universe, like deep inside your cells and atoms and to the outer reaches of the cosmos and the nature of reality. It's a structural approach. It's like we get the house of the liver happier. You know, if it's all constricted and tight, it's not going to do all of its 700 functions very well. It's going to have to make choices to keep you alive. And some of the choices aren't so happy because it's like, you know, you won't be making your sex hormones. So PMS, you know, that kind of thing, like we talked about. So we're going to make the structure good. And we're going to do it with this integrative manual therapy approach. And we can do it together. I can show you this part. So you can think of the heart and just put your hand on your heart, maybe the right hand, like if you're United States Pledge of Allegiance back in the day. And just think about there's the skin, and then there's the bones, and then there's beneath the bones, there's a little space, and there's the covering of the heart. It's like a fibrous connective tissue covering, like a sac. And there's a little space, and then there's the heart muscle. And if you just think about the heart muscle, and then there's a little space, and there's a little covering, just think about the space between the heart and the covering. And just keep your attention there, and then put your hand on top of your head, about an inch above your head, the Kundalini center, the epic center. And so your attention can be on this top of the head spot, and the space between your heart and your pericardial sac, the connective tissue heart sac. And then just think about there's layers, like there's 10 little layers that we're going to go through between the heart and the sac. And the layer that's closest to the heart, we're going to call that number 1. And the one that's farthest away from the heart, closest to the connective tissue sac, is number 10. So think about number 1. And there's a gyroscope energy to it. And we'll just think about it for, 10, 15 seconds or so. We call this the golden heart energy, this gyroscope energy. And then you could think of level 2, just a little farther out from that. And there's a gyroscope energy. And then level 3, a little farther out, gyroscope energy. And level 4, a little farther out, gyroscope energy. And then level 5, a little farther out, gyroscope energy. And then level 6. And level 7. And level 8. And level 9. And level 10. And then the whole thing between the heart muscle and the covering of the heart, the pericardial sac, is this gyroscope energy, like a big cushion of energy. It's 3-dimensional. And then you can think about, is there a place that you're dowsing to? Is there a place that's kind of calling your attention? Like if Ilya was doing it, it would be to different areas of her teeth. Or it might be something far removed, like her ankle, even though it's not where her symptom is. So just without thinking, is there some place you're attracted to? And you can keep an eye on that. And so this one thing, just doing this, uses this consciousness energy. You know, if you see the pictures of Jesus, there's this big fire, sun energy from the heart, the golden heart. And wherever you're not in resonance with the nature of reality, with the whole cosmos, with the whole microcosmos, you'll be drawn to it. It'll be like, oh man, the tuning fork has a little, somebody's touching the tuning fork right here. It's not resonating because of some little disruption here, like, you know, bone bruise, a hole in an artery, a hole in an organ, a hole in the GI tract, some infection. You don't have to know. It's nice to know all this stuff. It's like, that's what we go and we go fix up. But you keeping your attention on your golden heart and this epic center and where you're attracted to, you're literally using cosmic consciousness energy to heal. And then you can take the hand off the heart or off the head and put your hand on wherever you were dowsing to. So even if you don't know bone bruise technique, even if you don't know disruption of membrane technique or infection motility or any of the other IMT stuff, you can put your hand on the other spot and then just think of it, that spot, and think of the space between your heart and your pericardial sac, and you're connecting it up. And just notice it. And so we have all this stuff that I've been learning this weekend and over this last, gosh, I guess it's 24 years. Of integrative manual therapy. I'm going to bring it in with my symbol here. And let's click this in for you now. Oh, I was just looking at everything, you know, checking my messages before I came on. Perfect timing by moving this. Everybody else is on their lunch break. And I saw this Facebook post. I've heard it's not really what Einstein said, but it's a cool story. The basic gist of it is does evil exist? And it's kind of like saying, does darkness exist? And so the short answer would be like, well, yeah, of course it exists. I see evil, I see darkness. But when you think of it, darkness is just the absence of light. Like we don't measure darkness, we measure how much light is there. And so evil might be thought of it the same way, like evil is just the absence of love. So as Tom was going through the morning's lecture, all about the state of affairs and vaccinations and forced vaccinations, and I brought up this whole point that like that mRNA technology, they actually changed out uridine, amino acid uridine for pseudouridine. And the symbol for pseudouridine is literally, it's the little devil's pitchfork. That's the symbol for your pseudouridine. And then Tom was showing us all these maps of people he's been finding that have been vaccinated, and there's all these crosses in their body. He was calling them plugs, like the body trying to protect the blood-brain barrier and trying to protect bones. But it was like the map was quite unique because it was like it had all these crosses. And I'm like, man, that's some interesting symbology, like the devil's pitchfork and crosses. It's like, you can't even make that up. And now, everybody's feeling a little bit like disheartened, and it's like, like, holy crap, man, the world has some problems. And then I was opening up that Facebook post, and it's like, oh, there's no darkness. It's just the absence of light. So, darkness, you walk in with a lamp and there's instantly no darkness. You didn't have to fight darkness. You didn't have to try to stop darkness. You just got to go turn on the light, which we all are. So here's my thing for us all. Wherever we're not resonating, it could be a bone bruise, could be a disruptor to membrane wall integrity, could be infection, could be a mental thing. And you can put it together sometimes and you can make sense of it, but sometimes you don't even make sense of it. So with me, like, that pressure in my heart that I was feeling when I was doing this template and blueprint yesterday, but then it doused to the ankle where I had fractured my ankle and had to go through a lot of IMT to fix it up. Right before I fractured it, I was about to have a weekend of a date with somebody. I'd been going out with her, and this was going to be like 4 days off. And as soon as I had that fracture, I instantly knew I have to break up with her. And she was like, why? But I just knew it. Something just said no. And so it's kind of interesting that here I was getting treatment many years later, and there's pressure on my heart that felt emotional, felt spiritual, and then it doused to the bone that I broke when I was going through that. Isn't that wild? But that little bone was one of those little washers on my tuning fork that was not letting me harmonize with nature. So we're going to turn this just slightly for each of us. Oh, and we can use that video again if we want. This one is definitely, don't share it with people. It's for us because we know what we're up to.